So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about a preprocessor, which is nothing but an extension of our previous lecture, which is on preprocessing of a program or of a file. So preprocessing includes preprocessor, or you can say that preprocessor includes preprocessing statements. Okay, so now we are going to discuss it. So first understand this one, that preprocessor, a name itself indicates something. So here a pre and processor are two different words. Pre means before, and processor, where processor converts our C text file into C executable file. Our C text file into C executable file. So this nothing but called as a program. This is nothing but called as a program. So in program there are statements. In program there are some statements. Okay, so before executing this kind of statements, we are going to execute some statements before, that is called as in preprocessing. Now if we are executing some statements before the actual statements of a program, that means those statements are much important for our execution of a C program. Okay friends, so this is the basic concept of a preprocessor. Now let's see, this preprocessor is not a part of a compiler. This preprocessor is not a part of compiler. This preprocessor is not the part of an compiler. This is the main statement you need to understand first. Okay friends, now why we are saying this? Because we are executing some statements before the actual statements of a C program. So that's why the compiler actually starts a program from a void main statements. You know that. Okay, so we are executing some statements before. That's why this preprocessor is not a part of a compiler. This is easy to understand. Okay, let's not discuss upon that. Just move to the next phase of our program, and that is very much important. That we have already seen this, that C text file gets converted into C exe file or the C executable file, and that is the work of an processor, or that can be, you can say this processor, or you can say the work of an compiler. You can say that. Okay, so the main line here, or the main statements here, that compilation performed after the preprocessing. This is an MCQ for your GATE exam also, that the compilation steps are performed after the preprocessing steps. That is nothing but an MCQ for your statement, as we have already seen, just a tickle of an language. Okay, so here what exactly happens? Every preprocessing statement start with hash. Every preprocessing statement starts with hash. Okay, understood? Okay, now there are some preprocessors, or by defined preprocessors available. We can create our also, but the by default preprocessors are there. For example, let's see, hash define. This one is first. Then next one is hash include, which is very much needed in every C program. Now next one is hash undef. Okay friends, next one is hash if def. Okay, then hash if not def. Def means define, and for not, if not defined. Next one is if. Okay, next one is hash else, and last one is hash else if. Okay, these are nothing but a simple preprocessor statements. Okay, these are by default stored in our compiler. Okay, now let's move to exactly what it tells you about the program or about a system. Okay, so let's move to the first one, that is hash include statement, which is very much needed in every C program. Okay, so here what happens, it is called as a directive. Hash include directive is the name indicate. I forgot to tell you that. So here what exactly happens, this hash include directive is nothing but a content fetching directive. A content fetching directive is an hash include directive. I'm going to tell you the meaning of this after some time. Just see first that this happens with, or this comes with a .h file extension, .x file extension. Okay, now what happens here, what this header file .h means, header file, .h means a header file. Now what exactly header files means, that first is head. Head means head. Where is head? At the top of our body. So every hash include statement comes at the top of every program. Okay, so what this tells you, that header file tells you that there is some function, there is some function coming next in your program. There is some function coming next in your program. Okay, so this is nothing but an extension of that .h file. Okay, actually, but easy to understand this one, let's see. If you have seen the sample word program of hello world, so there is statement called as an printf. There is some lines there, and this goes end with this. Okay, so now if there is a function, we have to mention somewhere actual statements of a function, but here we are going to use only a print and f for a function. Okay, so we are not writing anything about that, but this .printf file or a .printf function has a definition in my header file, which I wrote like this, hash include stdio.h. .h means header file, these are angular brackets. Stdio means standard input and output file, standard input and output file. Now this printf statements or this .h file tells me, that the definition of this printf statement is stored in stdio.h file. Now I need to include the contents of this stdio.h file in my program to execute this printf statement. Understood? This hash include file tells my compiler that to include the contents of .stdio.h file in my program to execute or to support this printf statement. Okay, it's very easy, friends. Now this hash include directive we can use in our program with two different types. Okay, or in two different ways, you can say that in two different ways. First one is hash include stdio.h. Okay friends, so here is nothing but a standard system directive, Okay friends, so it's very easy as we have already discussed in, but the second way is very much important, and that is hash include. The syntax is also different. Hash include my file .h. Hash include my file.h. This is actually the second way, and this is called as an user defined. Directive. This is nothing but an user defined directive. Now this, what exactly this my file has? It has a path of a file, where we have already stored the contents. This path of a file has to be in a current directory, that is very much important. For example, I can show you the example of this, like hash include, okay, double quote, system slash my file dot h. This is my address of that actual file to store in my in program, and I need to execute that file. Okay friend, so current directories also works there, or if you have somewhere stored, you have the file somewhere stored in your computer elsewhere, so you can define the path here, disk drive path. You can define the path here. Okay friends, so I think it's very easy to understand, but there are two ways you need to remember that one. Okay friends, now we move to our second directive, that is hash define. And hash define is used for preprocessor variable definition. Okay, preprocessor variable definition, we use this hash define function. Okay friends, so the syntax of this is like this: hash define pi to the 3.14 okay, so there is space here and there is space here, no semicolon is there, as it is an hash define preprocessor directive. Friends, now what exactly happens here? It replaces what hash define does, it replaces the pi, that is a text value, with a number value, okay. So at last, when we are going to execute somewhere in our program a definition of pi, it has an inbuilt value of 3.14, that is we have said in this hash define statement friend. And also this is the global search and replace statements, means it can be work as a global search and replace statement, that is very much important. The next one, the advantage of next that is hash define function is to run fast the macros, means when we use the hash define with macro functions, macro gets executed very fastly, that is an important here also. And at last, it is a substitute for macros. It is an advantage of an hash define function. Now the remaining hash define functions are very easy. We are going to discuss in a single line statements, like hash undef. Okay, hash undef, that is undefine a macro. That means by hash define function we have defined our macro, but by hash undef function we are going to undefine the macro definition. Okay, next one is hash ifdef. Okay, that means if the macro gets defined, means if macro is defined, it returns the value true. And the next one is opposite to this, if ndef, that is if not defined. That means if the macro is not defined, it returns the value true. Okay, it's very easy to understand. If def, that means if definition is there of a macro, it returns the value true. And if ndef function is very similar to that, but exactly opposite to this one, that if ndef is there, okay, so if the macro is not defined, it returns the value true here. Okay, so now there is an if statements there, hash if. So if the compile time condition is true, if the compile time condition is true, so this function or this hash define function returns the value true, friends. Okay, and at last there is a statement called as pragma. Okay, so this pragma is nothing but to issue some special commands to the compiler. So this is the definition of macro.